Welcome to the Missouri State Penitentiary, an iconic fortress of justice and punishment that stood as one of the most infamous prisons in America's history. Also known as the bloodiest 47 acres in America, legends and untold stories of survival and despair. Opened in 1836 in Jefferson City, Missouri, this institution was older than Alcatraz, but the penitentiary was infamous for its violence, riots, and executions, leaving behind a legacy that still chills visitors to this day. Today we'll be walking through this penitentiary with a former inmate, Harvey Seidel, from Harvey Talks Prison YouTube channel.
I think this was the yard for PCs. You see all the basketball courts and stuff. Mm-hmm. This here used to be 5C. It was like, a new part of the prison they built. You can see the prison. It doesn't end there. Down there in the corner, they used to have a soap factory, a shoe factory, and there was a factory down there in the corner. Up there on that hill was what I was told by old head convicts that was a graveyard for those who didn't have a place to go. And now look at it. Mm-hmm. Kind of pisses me off. Mm-hmm. I'm really aggravated about that graveyard thing up there.
But the graveyard was in the parking lot.
That's the ones they buried for the TB. But they had a regular, grave site up there. You could see, I didn't know what they were, and somebody told me they was tombs. No, the ones where the softball field's at, this parking lot now, we didn't know we was playing softball and running around on that. And there was people underneath, that they had buried, like a mass grave. So, but this is really the first time I got a good look at the backside. They've cleared all these trees and stuff out. But when I was in the hole, up there, I always asked to be put on this side because I didn't want to be facing the prison. I had the gym and everything over here. It had handball courts, basketball courts. But I really don't understand why they tore that down, but I don't believe they should have. But I spent most of my time in treehouse there. It was hot in the summertime, very hot in the summertime, and in the wintertime, especially if it was on the bottom wall, tall some trees over. And over here is the warden's house. I think it's a museum now, but figured do this little video for y'all and tell you a little bit about it.
Those two houses over there are Airbnbs.
Yeah, they're Airbnbs. All these buildings got built off the money inmates were making in this prison back in the 1800s. Most of just the city was built that way.
Yeah, with those two houses, you can come stay in the house that used to be part of the prison.
Right, yeah. I'm going to show you guys down here. You can turn that off in a minute. See that fence going down through there? That separated the lower and upper yard. But you can go from one to the other. It wasn't like you blocked out one and the other. You can go from the lower to upper yard. But along the hillside there, outside the upper yard, they had benches and people would sit there. And women would come out in this balcony in this corner down here and take their tops off and stuff and flash it. It's quite a distance, but we still enjoyed it. Here there was another tower. They had a handball court right there.
I would assume the other tower would be right where those rocks are.
Yeah, probably where those rocks are. But somebody lost a handball and it came over here by this wall. It used to not be a fence, it used to be a wall. And I went to get it. This guard comes out of the tower, CO, and says, "Don't come any closer to that wall." I'm like one more step and I could reach down and get the ball. Mm-hmm. I said, it's right there, let me get it. He goes, do not take one more step. Had a gun in his hand. And everybody's telling me, man, just back away. And I kept arguing with him, man. The ball was right there. One more step. He goes, do not take one more step. And he was serious about that. Mm-hmm. He was not playing. And they had 3 different types of weapons up in that tower. So there was no way. And then, you know, you have these other towers. I do not know how many towers they got all the way around, but there are ever so many feet.
They only have 2 now.
1, 2.
Yeah, 1, 2.
There's 1 right there.
Oh, so there's 3?
I think there's 1 further down. But they got these towers. You imagine sitting up there all day, all, you know, till your shift is over. That would drive me friggin' nuts. And that building there, behind that pile of rubble.
Okay, well, let me get over here to the fence.
That is the entrance to the museum now. But on the top was H Hall, also known as One House. Wasn't as many cells up there. And way back in the 1800s, and I think all the way up into the early 1900s, is for the females. But yeah, they just keep taking things out of this, man. It ain't gonna be nothing left of it. They keep doing that. They want it to be a museum, but then they tear pieces of it off. When I got here, this was Barn Old. It used to be called F&G Hall. And this is where, like right in here is where at the very bottom walk is where I was at. This was the chapel. This was the school. None of us here now. They took it out. This is A Hall or 4 House. Half of this building was PC. The other half was the whole. And then, you know, they had their own yard. And I heard they had their own canteen and school and everything in there. And then soap factory and I think shoe factory when I was there. But here's the softball field and the handball court. They had weights over here too. But like I said, one day I came and I sat on this bleachers. It's not bleachers, it's like, it looks like stone concrete steps. And these 2 guys was waiting on this guy. He's running around here. And they waited until, I guess he wore himself out or something. He's coming around here and they went down there with bats and just wore him. I got up and left. I got the hell out of there. But this down here was a housing unit, I Hall. This was the tag plant where they made license plates. And this was I think, furniture factory. But all these was like little factories and stuff they had. And this is the gas chamber. But yeah, you could come down through here. They had a gate you could go through up here. There used to be a swimming pool. I guess they took it out, or this was before they built it. But this is the handball court. Remember I was telling you about the handball rolling over towards that guard tower right there. And that guard said, "Don't one more step," and I could have picked it up. You know, the guard said, "Don't take another step." All this, when you come to the museum now, you come down the street, and this is all open. This used to all be
That's a courthouse?
Yeah, it's a courthouse now.
Actually, no. I'll show you the courthouse. That's the courthouse.
Right, but all this was part of the prison. That's that tower we see down there at the end. You know, where you turn around. So just it goes to show you how much is missing.
Because the way the front of the building is now, this is the front of the building.
Right. Yeah, that's the front of the building. Now, this was the hospital. They had a pretty good hospital. Now you go to a modern prison in Missouri, and it's just called medical.
They're not filming out here, are they?
No, we're in the forehouse now.
We can. Do you want to say anything, or?
Yeah, I'd say that that's the housing unit I lived in. My first cell in that housing unit was the first cell. It was on the other side. And there was 4 chairs.
Think we could walk down to see the window?
Okay. And there was 4 tiers. We called them walks. The bottom walk we called the flag. I don't think we're gonna be able to see it
Well, she did say we shouldn't be roaming around.
too much.
Yeah. Everybody else is walking around.
What it says on the side there. Down there where that potty is, you see the walk that goes that way. That went into the chow hall. The chow hall, and then that's here now.
Yeah. Some of the whatever you say might have to be redubbed over because the microphone on this isn't very good.
And there used to be a chapel out there. And rails down there, where you see that square rails, that was the school. And they tore it down, folks, because it didn't fit in with their historical thing. Because it was built. It was a pretty modern looking school. It had windows on it. You couldn't see anything. It was like real. They went every which way. And that was the honor house when I was here. The poorhouse was also called A Hall. 5 house was called J&K Hall. The one they tore down over here, that was called F&G Hall. You can see where the tunnel curves right down there. You had to be real careful going around that corner. Because there might be somebody on the other side. There's a blind spot. Many people got hit there, you know. The parking lot was a canteen. I think there was something else there too, but it was, I think, canteen and music room.
Hey, look, they got cameras now.
Huh?
Said, look, they got cameras now.
Yeah, they got cameras now. Needed them back then. Although I don't know what good that would do. People here didn't care if they got caught, you know.
It'd be nice to see what it looked like upstairs up here.
Yeah, it'd be nice to go to one house. I've never been in one house. But that goes all the way to 5 house. This corridor, we call it the tunnel. It goes all the way that way until you get to, I think it goes down to 2 house.
So they're guardrails for a road.
I don't remember them being here when I was here. But I was telling you, the guy was standing right here, waiting to go and visit him. The bubble told me to hold up. This guy comes in from the outside, from, I think, the tunnel. His white shirt was just red. And he had hose over it. And he goes, I need medical. And he staggered towards me, and I pushed him back with my finger because I didn't want my visit being slowed up in here, you know. So they came out here, and, you know, I tell people that, and they say, man, that was messed up. He would have done the same thing. Did you get that down there?
It's just an empty hallway. There's nothing down there.
I guess where they brought people in at. Came in through there. And you got transferred here. And got pictures and stuff up here, huh?
Yeah.
One of these doors was medical. I can't remember which one.
Let's start from this side. This is a victims memorial that the inmates at the Missouri State Penitentiary made for their own victims for an apology. It has, you look on here, you can see, it's hard to see now, but it's got names and their birth dates and how they died. This one says Zachary Sharp. His birth date was May 7th, 77. He was murdered in September 1st of 95. And this one here is Awanda Coleman Ford, born May 22nd, 52. Died May 27th, 97. Can't really read that one too well. They were murdered on July 6th, 97. This here used to have flowers and all that stuff and was taken care of by the inmates when the prison was open. I got some more names and more bricks with names on them down here. Let's see. I can't read that. I think this is Todd Scrund. Can't really read that one too well. He was murdered in October 24th, 87. This one says Mary Free, a victim of child abuse. That's sad. Can't read that one too well. There's that one there.